So I'm continuing the video on how to do character development in children. If you'll remember from last month, I first talked about teaching. That was the first aspect, which means you fill the classroom or you fill the home with positive talk. Talk about setting goals and achievement and how to treat other people, quotations, movies, all kinds of things that inspire their heart to make children want to be a great person, to want to be a virtuous person, to want to be someone who's achieving things and caring for other people. Now, the second aspect is the training aspect. We're talking about how to develop character. There's a training involved. If you'll recall, good character is the habituation of good behaviors. So you've got to practice something. And in order to practice something, you have to keep at it for quite a long period of time. This is what we call the training aspect. So to that end, we defined the virtues that we address. There's many more, but we focus on 7 of them. We had to define them in a way that children can practice them. It just makes sense. If you're going to talk about courage, that is to set goals and understand the sacrifice, then you have to have an environment in which you can practice that again and again and again. In our case, we look at it as 1st grade through 8th grade. If we're going to teach character and courage and achievement ethics, it's got to be 8 years. You've got to put a lot of time in it. It's not going to happen automatically. Now, in the training aspect, there's 2 sides to it. One side of training has to do with just happens accidentally, just by the circumstances of life. The family you're from, the neighborhood you're in, the friends that you have at school, it just occurs. Sometimes good and sometimes bad. And it just happens. And it's going to happen to everyone. The second kind of training is what we're talking about now, and that's purposeful. That has been designed by mom, by dad, by teachers to help children live on a higher plane of life, develop their skills at goal setting and hard work and self-discipline, developing attitudes and skills for compassion and for justice. So we adults hope that the children will grow up, not accidentally, but purposefully, certain set of virtues and practices that'll become the way they live their life. Now, there's 2 sides to this, of course. There's the side on achievement, becoming the best person that you possibly can become. And then secondly, how you treat other people. That's very important, especially in this particular age. What I've noticed, it's so self-absorbed in teaching children that they're the center of the world. Well, they're not, and they're not going to be happy if they live that way. They have to be a person who's joined to others, who helps others, who's a support to other people, who's a team player. Okay, now to create this practice over a long period of time, you need 2 things. Number 1 is a playing field, meaning that's the place where you practice. If it's baseball or soccer or tennis, you go to this court, you go to the field, and you practice several times a week. All the skills that are required, the understanding and attitudes you have to be an excellent player. Well, for something like school, you want someone to excel in school, to do their best, to work hard. You have to create an environment. The school itself has to have good standards, good academic standards. Maybe at home, you have a place to study. You have all the materials prepared. You talk about the value of education so the children are keenly aware that they need to do well. You create an environment. That's a playing field. And that child is going to be able to grow up in that field as a good student because they're practicing it. From 1st grade through 8th grade, they're practicing all the features that make someone a good student. Same thing with compassion, how you treat other people, to talk, how you're getting along with others. What have you done to help some of your classmates? How have you shown respect to your teacher? So you create an environment. Maybe it's around your dinner table. Maybe once a week, you're going to have some practice of understanding people and understanding how to treat people. That's the playing field. Now, simultaneously with the playing field, the second feature is this. You have to be aware that children have their own willpower, and that willpower seldom wants to do the things where they'll become a better person. They're always going to opt for the easy way out. They're children. So they need you, they need me, they need their teachers to be with them and to become their willpower. They say, I don't want to do this. I don't like, just a little longer, honey. We're going to work at this a little bit longer. Let's keep pushing. Don't quit. We don't want to be quitters. You're there all the time as their willpower. You're an adult. You know when you've got to exercise some self-control. They don't. They're children. Even through their teen years, they need somebody there who is being their willpower, actually giving the mental stamina and strength to persevere, to push through so that they can become successful. So these two things is creating a field, a playing field for them that they can practice and simultaneously understand them so that you can be both strict and firm, but very kind and very loving, relentless, but still understanding where they're coming from. Practicing virtue is hard work. It's hard for children. It's hard for adults. So for you and me to practice self-control is already difficult. Imagine what it's like for an 8-year-old or for a 10-year-old. However, what I'd like to point out is that this is the pathway of building up virtues, not by accident, building up character, not by chance, but deliberately, creating the environments that create practice again and again and again till virtue becomes the way they live. And together we create great children doing great things. That's my goal as the administrator at the school and as an educator. I want to see kids thrive, but I realize the work that is involved, being with them, creating a field, and also understanding their willpower. Okay, thank you.